Hi guys, welcome back to part 4 of the DW DR1 build. Part 1 was the tail feathers and the undercarriage wing. Part 2 and 3 is the fuselage. Part 4 today now is going to be the upper wing centre section, and then I can bolt on the struts to the fuselage and get things shaping up a bit there. I'll probably bolt the undercarriage struts on as well. So I've done a little bit of prep work for this, so I'll bend you down and you can have a look, see what I'm doing. Cheers. Before you see a plan. Basically, it's only this short. There's this little tiny, I'm loath to call it a main spar because it's about 1 millimeter thick ply. A couple of bits of quarter go top and bottom of the ribs, and the ribs are all ply. Trailing edge is 3/16 balsa. So as with the lower wing, I'm going to lower wing, undercarriage wing that is, I'm going to assemble it all using C8 and then go and run in all the PVA. So it's a nice tight fit, as one would expect from laser. That's got to be about there, that's going to be about there. There is a joining spar in there, which I don't think I need to help line things line up, but it's there anyway. The leading edge is the 4mm carbon as well. The two very outer ribs I can't glue on at this stage because it's the strut mountings, and obviously I can't, they'll have to go on after it's built. The other two things is there's mounting brackets, blind nuts to go in here and here, made up with 2 bits of ply. There is enough room underneath the nuts to allow me, because they're over length, if you remember, I either cut them down or put a packer. I put a packer, and there is enough room to accommodate the packer. If I show you a rib, so the nut faces up, if I put that in there, look, that is actually just below the surface of the rib. Okay, I've put epoxy, it's too sticky, on the captive nuts. I've just offered this one up, W21. Sits in there very, very precisely. That's pretty good. I'll do the same with this and probably end up steaming the others. We'll have a look. This piece is over length, so I'm going to cut it to fit. I'm just on the front edge of that then, just to come down into the curvature a bit. This will make for a fantastically strong structure. Okay guys, there we are. The structure is complete. I did wet and steam these to get them to go around a bit easier, and the bottom went on okay. Shaped the wood a little bit to fit around the leading edge there. I've just epoxied on the 2 outer ribs. Thought I'd use epoxy on that because it's load bearing, and banded it on. I'll put the rod through to make sure everything lines up okay. So while that's drying, I thought I would assemble the wheels. Okay, let's whack on some glue here. I'm going to use white glue. There. They're big wheels. Here's on that. Squeeze it down. And put a great big weight on it. And on the outside of that, got these lovely rubber tyres. Glue on nice. They're pretty scale looking as well. It's tail skid time. 5 components. Picture shows the little carbon bits on the outside of the laminations. Obviously I won't be able to stain it or round it up or anything, so it makes more sense to put them on the inside. I've roughed up all of it, just roughed up gently, except the two outside ones of course, and rough these up a little bit, give it a key. I'm just going to use I'm sort of torn, should I use epoxy, but this aliphatic falls apart. Use epoxy, so let's just glue it up. The middle one, by the way, has got this little cutout on there, a little wiggle. Right. There we go. Let's leave that in a moment and peg her up. Squeezing out, that's nice. Good. Okay. There's the tail skid, guys. We'll pop that to one side and let it dry. On the undercarriage legs themselves, they are clad with a piece of balsa each side, which chunks them up quite nicely. This is exciting. Right, let's see if I can push it. There we go. In. Let's see if we can pick up the nut. A couple of things I have to consider, and one of them is I want to put the rigging wires under the on the wing. Though this wing here, the lower wing, there's a crisscross of rigging wire, so that's got to be fitted somehow, and I think it went from the front here somewhere, so it might be as simple as making a small hole in there and just putting a little hook. The rigging wires I'll use is the same I used on my David Boddington Mannock, and that is just hat cord, I think they call it. It's just elasticated cord. Just okay. Just elasticated cord, and that works really well. Obviously it's totally non-functional, but it works well. All right, there's two in. That's correct, isn't it? All right, there we go. So I've got to find M3 self-tapping screws to go into the fuselage. Let's just offer things up a bit, see how it's looking. Oops. There we go. Let's have a look then. Where's it gone? Where's your... Cool. Could have sat on that. Okay. Now let's see how things... Back ones need to be tweaked out a little bit. Front ones need to be bent out a bit. Don't want to just put... Well, that's not fitting precisely, is it? The back ones are... I have to rebend these. It looks to me like that's going to have to come off and be bent. Let me play with this, guys, and I'll be back. Right, this is what I've done. I've just bent it very, very slightly. I've bent both, but I've bent one back. But that's the difference, look. Very slight, very small bend. You see that? In fact, about 3mm, that, isn't it? Thickness of the alley. Just bent it so it's slightly out, and it gives me equates to about 1/2 centimetre at the top end. So I'm going to bend this one the same amount. Bend it that way. I'm going to bend them equally both sides, but to be honest, it's just that, very small amount, hardly any. So it's just going to be a little game of bend and adjust and trial fit, just to get those spot on. I've played with it, I've bent it around slightly. The fourth one went a lot quicker than the first one, and it just sits in there a treat now. So what I'm going to do now is to find some bolts for the bottom and see if we can bolt it up. Haven't screwed them up tight yet, everything is variable. That can't be right. It says M3 self-tapper screws for the top of the legs, but they should be M4 tapped because I've got the nuts in there on the inside. So let's see what we've got here. They don't need to be, I'm guessing it's going to be these here. And then that lines up beautifully. It's a good start. Hey, if they all go as easily as this one, should be happy. Right, one there. Pull that into position slightly. Undercarriage legs will want to be just rounded up, look, because they're sticking out, and that's going to poke through the covering. Originally, the lower wing was covered with plywood. You could do the same. Quite nice to see the ribs. Could do the same though. Saves weight though, doesn't it? And the other thing, it was joined front and back down here, and was bolted together with clamps, probably over the axle, I suppose. Yeah, right over the axle. I've discovered, I was told on the comments, you know who I forget, yeah, sorry, I've forgotten who it was commented, but when I had a look, I could see that they were absolutely right. It was in two parts. All these things need a little bit of fettling here and there, don't they? Nothing quite goes quite as you expect. So apart from that little tweak of the bending, it's gone in really nice. Yeah, nice and flat now. Let's take her off and turn her over. No, let's just pop the axle in, then I can sit the wheels on. I haven't got the bearers yet in it, but should better balance it. Ooh, let's turn her over. Just put the comb in around just for a bit of fun. It's not stuck. Let's just balance the wheels on. Tyres aren't stuck on either, but just my bench isn't big enough. What about that then, guys? I don't know what you can see. That's big. It's big. Oh, well.
You just done that?
Yeah. Say hello to the viewers.
Oh, hello!
This is one of my clever daughters, the artiste of the backdrop.
Hi. Just checking out the handiwork here.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh.
Yeah, it's balanced. Yes, it's nice, isn't it?
That's cool. Done that quick.
Yeah, I've actually put that the wrong side of the spring, in case you were wondering.
Oh yeah.
Didn't have my glasses on. But yeah. You've been for a walk?
Yeah.
I've been busy.
You've been very busy. I'm knackered now.
Oh yeah. and bye-bye. Right, I've got some self-tapping screws here, guys, and I have to self-tap them into the wood. Right, now the plywood here, it is 1/4 inch with the doubler, so it should in theory fit, but the screws I just said was slightly too long. This is where we hear the sound of cracking plywood. Oh, that's my support I've just knocked over. I've got a 1956 Aero Modeler manual. Not very good, is it? fell on my glasses. Oh dear. Let's see if we can bend them back. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to need something a little bit better than that to hold that up. Alright, lunch has been poured, so after lunch I'll put the other cabanes in, and then together we can offer up the top middle wing. But this is, I've got them in. They look about right, but just looking at the instructions, these are held on with M3 self-tapping screws, which they can't be because the holes they go into are not self-tappers. So I'll have to look into that. It'll have to just be a nut and bolt or something, but as I'm going to leave it fixed up, hopefully then it won't matter. Stand back, stand back, stand back, stand back. It's looking pretty cool. So that's all nice and solid, but that is just not going to happen, is it? M3 self-tapping screws do not screw into an M4 hole. Very well. So there we are anyway. Let's look at it from this side. I don't think I can get back far enough. I can lift it up. Cool. Right, let's crack on. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Hit the little like button down below and hit the little subscribe button if you want to see the maiden or at least the finished model. And thanks for all your comments. They're really great, really interesting, and they keep me going and infused. I've had a few days off work, so I managed to build this pretty quick really. I only had one day off. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in part 5. Cheers guys, bye, 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 cheers, cheers, cheers again.